Happy game day, Bengals fans. Cincinnati getting ready to take on the Dallas Cowboys here on Monday Night Football. Should be a lot of fun. Another primetime game for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Hopefully this time it results in a victory. But on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at 10 impact players to keep an eye on Monday night. 10 guys, 5 from the Bengals, 5 from the Cowboys that I think are really going to determine the outcome of this football game. So we'll spend some time talking about each and every one of those guys. But before that, make sure you guys share today's video for me on social media. The bosses said we got to get our shares numbers up here in the month of December, going for 15 shares minimum on this video right here. So any social media platform in which you desire, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, do us a favor and share today's video on social media if you have not done so already. Really just gets the word out to more Bengals fans that aren't already tapped in to what we're doing here on Bengals Breakdown. All right, first player to watch here, and it's an obvious one, but I felt like this was necessary here to say Joe Burrow at that number 1 spot. And for a while now, I've kind of been saying that this is how I cope when it comes to watching the Cincinnati Bengals, because they're so frustrating and so heartbreaking and so disappointing in so many ways. But I think all of us as a fan base just need to sit back at times and be happy and proud of the fact that this guy, number 9, is our quarterback, because he is absolutely unbelievable. He says he feels like he's playing the best football of his career, and for the most part, I would agree with that. I think we would like to see him play a little bit better in the fourth quarter, something that he has done really, really well throughout his career here in Cincinnati. Maybe not quite as well in that quarter here in 2024, but Joe Burrow certainly plenty to be excited about, and that's why you always tune in, regardless of the fact that Cincinnati might essentially be eliminated from playoff contention. Not technically yet, but you always tune in to watch Joe Burrow, and you should be very happy that he is the quarterback here. I think his main priority at this point is helping Ja'Marr Chase get that triple crown. That certainly would be outstanding. In the sense, it'd be kind of like, wow, got the triple crown winning receiver and one of the best quarterbacks, probably the best quarterback in the National Football League, and we're not going to the playoffs, but at the same time, that certainly would be pretty exciting. He certainly is player number 1 to watch for me. Joe Burrow always shows up when the lights are the brightest. Do you think Joe Burrow will win Comeback Player of the Year? He, of course, has already won this award after his knee injury, which is pretty unbelievable. I don't know if anyone's ever won it twice, so I'll have to check in on that, but I think it's really between him and, Kirk Cousins? I think certainly you have to give it over to Burrow over Cousins at this point, but let me know in the comment section, will Joe Burrow win the Comeback Player of the Year? Type Y for yes or N for no. If that ad comes here on YouTube, totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Player to watch number 2, Micah Parsons. This guy is really good at playing football, and he will be absolutely chomping at the bit to get after Joe Burrow in this football game. Can be a game wrecker. This is what that guy does, and I think eventually this is what he's going to get paid the big bucks to do. We'll see if that is in Dallas or elsewhere. But regardless, this is the guy that, like I said, can absolutely wreck the game and have multiple sacks in a game. That's something that Cincinnati obviously is trying to avoid in this game. Avoid those negative plays, run the football right, and avoid those long yardage situations. And, of course, Parsons is going to be a massive factor in this football game for Dallas. Hopefully Cincinnati has a plan and somebody on that offensive line can step up and do a decent job against him. He's not a guy that you're going to completely shut down, but you need to be able to limit the things he can do on the football field, and we'll see if Cincinnati is up for the challenge in that regard. Next up, similar position for Cincinnati, but on their defensive side of the football. Trey Hendrickson didn't really do much against Pittsburgh, and when he doesn't do much, that's a problem for this Bengals pass rush because they don't really have anything else to offer at that pass rush position. Myles Murphy has been an absolute disappointment since the Bengals took him in the first round of the 2023 draft. Cincinnati really needs Trey Hendrickson to have a big game. For a while, he kind of looked like he was on pace for the Defensive Player of the Year. I think, unfortunately, the Bengals' defense their team is just too bad for him to bring home that award. And he has cooled off a little bit. Has come down to earth a little bit. But Cooper Rush is a guy that isn't the most mobile guy. And if he can get around some blocks, Trey Hendrickson's the guy that certainly can get the quarterback on the ground. If he can do that defensively, the Bengals need splash plays like that defensively because they're just kind of a Swiss cheese defense at this point. They need turnovers and they need negative plays for them to stay in the game and ultimately not give up points on some drives. CeeDee Lamb, another player to watch here for the Dallas Cowboys. Lamb, of course, has been dealing with a shoulder injury, but he is off the report and he is going to be ready to go in this football game for Dallas. And look, CeeDee Lamb causes all kinds of problems for you if you are a defense. And unfortunately for Cincinnati, I don't think they have a guy that can go out there and guard him. There's not really many in the league that can, but years past, you've had a guy at corner, Chidobe Awuzie, there for a while where it was like, yeah, we can put him on the best receiver on the other side of the ball, and he'll find ways to go out there and do productive things for you from a coverage standpoint. That's not something that we have really seen any of these corners do. We'll see who is up for the challenge, if anyone at all. We'll also be interested to see who gets matched up on him. Will they put the rookie, fifth-round rookie, Josh Newton on CeeDee Lamb a little bit, or will it be Cam Taylor-Britt? Regardless, it's going to be a massive matchup for somebody in that Bengals secondary, and the safeties better come ready to play as well because you're certainly going to need some help over the top with a receiver of Lamb's caliber. Next up here for Cincinnati, Akeem Davis-Gaither, guy that really needs to have a bounce-back performance for this Bengals football team. With Logan Wilson out, he got the call last week to be a starter at that linebacker spot, and it did not go well. He got beaten coverage several times, and he missed a ton of tackles. Has to be better at that linebacker position for Cincinnati. I think people were really banging on Logan Wilson for the things that he was doing this year, but then the first game you don't have Logan Wilson, it seems to get about 5 times worse there at that linebacker spot. We'll see if Shaka Hayward has any kind of role in this game, but it's very necessary and important for Akeem Davis-Gaither to have a bounce-back performance and not just be a guy they can count on special teams, but also a guy that can play the linebacker position at a high level. He's got to bounce back after last week's performance. We'll continue with our players to watch here in a moment, but first, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Game Time because today's show is presented by Game Time. Look, Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. A couple of tickets still on sale, a couple of games here at Paycor Stadium that you can go check out some Cincinnati Bengals football. Really encourage you guys do that, unless, of course, you're hanging out watching our watch parties, but still a fun atmosphere to be a part of at Paycor Stadium. My 2 favorite features on Game Time: the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Secondly, the all-in price. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Time's it. It's game time. Next up here is DeMarvion Overshown for the Dallas Cowboys. I tell you what, he might be my favorite player on this Cowboys team. A young guy, went to Texas, and he really is starting to come into his own. Had that absolutely incredible pick 6 off a batted ball there against the Giants on Thanksgiving. This is a guy that his closing speed is absolutely insane. You might get out in the flat and think you have some space in which to operate, and he will get on you in a hurry, and he'll hit you hard too, and he will take you down. Really like this player in DeMarvion Overshown. Bengals got to have their head on a swivel when they're going around across the middle because he's a guy that can lay you out. And the running backs, when they're out there on the perimeter, they're going to have to account for this guy because DeMarvion Overshown is a really, really good player. And if Micah Parsons is going to be sticking around beyond this year in Dallas, that tandem of Parsons and Overshown could be really special for the Dallas Cowboys. He's certainly a guy to keep an eye on. If you don't know who he is, I promise you will after tonight's game. Next up, Josh Newton, your 5th-round rookie, going to get his second start here after the injury to DJ Turner. Again, kind of a baptism by fire thing that we kind of mentioned on yesterday's show. But regardless, he's going to get thrown into the fire once again, and we'll see if he is up for the challenge. Played really well in the Charger game, and then he kind of looked like a rookie in that last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's okay because this guy that was picked in the 5th round of the draft, really, when you're a 5th-round DB like that, the expectation to come in and play meaningful snaps year 1, I mean, it's a lot to ask for, and that's certainly what Cincinnati is asking of him at this point, and, of course, Josh Newton. And we'll see if he is ready to have a bounce-back performance. Hopefully he can get matched up on a guy like Brandon Cooks and not necessarily CeeDee Lamb. And we'll see if that is a matchup that he can win. But Josh Newton, I'm really excited to see what he can do because these next 5 games are really critical for his future with the Cincinnati Bengals, despite the fact that he is only a rookie, and he'll be sticking around for a couple of years regardless. Opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. What's your confidence level in Josh Newton? Scale it for us 1 to 10. Be honest with us in the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Next up here for the Dallas Cowboys, Rico Dowdle. Look, Rico Dowdle very clearly is their best running back. Zeke is not the player he once was, and Dowdle really had a breakout game on Thanksgiving against the Giants and really was the reason they won that football game. Bengals got to stop the run in this one because their secondary is so bad. If the Cowboys can run the football on them as well, it's going to be a long day for this Bengals team because I think Cooper Rush is probably going to have the best game of his season here against the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Their run D was decent against Pittsburgh, and they still gave up points on essentially every single drive. So it'll be critical for the Bengals to have a better plan when it comes to, playing defense, obviously, in this football game. But Rico Dowdle's a guy that I got a lot of respect for. And, he's a hungry running back. He's trying to prove his worth here in the National Football League. Bengals better come ready to play and better come ready to stop the run because Rico Dowdle is going to be running hard in this one. Last up for Cincinnati, Ja'Marr Chase. Look, I talked to you guys before the season started. I sat there and I said Ja'Marr Chase is the best wide receiver in the National Football League. And, we're kind of in a spot where that seems to be pretty true here at this point. Again, a large part of this season over the next 5 weeks is getting this guy the Triple Crown. I think that would be certainly really exciting if that happened here in Cincinnati. I know Joe Burrow has spoken about it. It's something that he wants to make happen. You can bet your bottom dollar Ja'Marr Chase wants it to happen as well. And look, he, of course, is trying to get that new contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully the Cincinnati Bengals. But look, he has really done a nice job of balling out this year. I think Cincinnati, as an organization, got to be kicking themselves because his price just went up significantly based on his performance this season. He's going to absolutely break the bank this offseason, and we just got to keep our fingers crossed that Cincinnati is willing to do it. For whatever reason, I have some confidence that they do. It's, of course, an organization that you shouldn't really have much confidence in, but I think Cincinnati will figure it out and find a way to give Ja'Marr Chase the contract he is seeking. Last up, KaVontae Turpin. He's such a fun player. He's a gadget guy, obviously, but this guy is just an absolute ball of energy, and he is fast, man, and he can really do some dangerous things in the return game. Special teams probably going to be critical in this game. Aubrey, of course, their kicker, typically does a nice job of splitting the uprights. Got a massive leg, obviously, as well. Bengals have struggled in the special teams department this season, particularly in the field goal kicking game. So I wouldn't be surprised here in prime time, Bengals Cowboys, if special teams played a big role in this one. And KaVontae Turpin is a guy that can make massive plays on special teams. Bengals better have a plan for him when it comes to Darren Simmons and his preparation for this game tonight. Again, we will be live later on tonight, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be on for about an hour before the opening kickoff. Should be a lot of fun. I'm certainly looking forward to another opportunity for Cincinnati to try to get a win in prime time. I'm excited about it because it's another opportunity to watch Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase play football. Don't miss out on that. Help us out. Help yourself out. Hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. That's youtube.com/BengalsTV.